Idaho. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Good afternoon, Boise State basketball fans. Greetings and welcome. ExtraMile Arena, the place to be in Boise. A near sellout crowd expected as Boise State looks to get the momentum and keep it rolling after that win against Air Force. We bring in Abe Jackson. You can hear him coming up in about, what do we got, 24 minutes over on 670 KBOI. And I got to turn this other volume down. Are you hearing that? I'm sorry.
I am.
I'm sorry about that. I'm watching the watching some other game. I think Memphis lost again, by the way, or was about to lose to Wichita State. So
Memphis lost at home to who was it?
They've lost to some bad teams.
No, just last.
Well,
they
were just about to lose. Did they lose, Johnny? Did Memphis lose?
Memphis lost last week to some team at home that was like 2-6.
Somebody watching
conference.
On the chat will let us know. I apologize. This is a heck of a start, but we had the play-by-play in our ear, so we got that done. Abe Jackson will hear you in a little over 20 minutes with Bob Beeler, 670 KBOI, Boise State and Air Force. Abe, we got to look back, though, first before we look forward. And I don't remember if you played in the pit as a player.
Never did.
Okay.
Nope, never
I know
played
you've been there several times.
11,
Memphis came back and won at the end by 2.
I think 11 games. 11 games is Boise State's played at the pit. So been there quite a few times.
And I know last year was a huge crowd, but the other night we were both there for Boise State to do what they did, to go down to the pit. 10.5-point underdogs. Not many people at all giving them a chance. They fall down 10-2 early in the game. I mean, just unbelievable comeback and resolve in one of the tougher atmospheres. Probably the toughest one they'll face all season.
Well, I think the Pit and then Viejas at San Diego State are the two places that Boise State has won the least. It's been 3 apiece, except until now. Now it's 4 times Boise State has won in the pit. It's one of the premier college environments, whether or not you just look at the fans that show up, the design of the building, and the history of that building, with Jim Valvano looking for somebody to hug in that national championship that was played there. So many things going into that game. And then you can't overstate the fact that just how much it helped Boise State in the rankings with a win when you're a dog by 10.5 and you end up winning by 8 or so. So
put them
huge win.
Up 11 spots at Ken Palm. They went up double-digit spots in the net rankings as well. And all of a sudden, that resume is looking a lot nicer.
It is, and you got to follow it up with a game against Air Force here and get solid and have a nice win because, with the way that the rankings go, you can have a win that takes you up 10, 11 spots, but then if you have a really bad loss, you are just right back down 8 to 10 spots. So you got to follow a good win up like that with another win here tonight.
14 is the number today on That's
a big college. No, that's a big number. That's a big number.
That's what the computer projections say Boise State should win by.
Even though San Jose State did get smacked by 30 by Nevada yesterday.
That was unbelievable to watch that last night.
I guess there can be blowouts, but I think one of the coaches told me that Boise State has the most single-digit wins in the country right now.
They were tied, I think, going into the last game. Yeah,
so,
it was close,
they've been able to pull them out, but it would be nice to see a good maybe, with 3 or 4 minutes left, just have a nice, solid lead where you're not even sweating.
I want to see Sam Winter in this game. Come on.
Let's go. A Sam Winter game. I like that.
But Air Force, we'll get to Air Force in a minute because they're not, we joke about it, but it's not the easiest team to prepare for.
No.
They've had some weird scores this year. But in that game, a couple of things stood out to me. Obviously, we'll get to Max Rice in a second, but I thought the bench, once again, and in particular, Jace Whiting, you get Roddy Anderson in foul trouble. Jace comes in 19 minutes, no fouls, hit a couple buckets, had 2 big free throws late in the game. That's like the 3rd or 4th game in a row. I think Jace Whiting's really coming on here.
And I think you always love buckets from anybody off the bench, but what is huge is that you had a point guard come in off the bench and had no turnovers. So Jace did a fantastic job in that game coming off. Cam Martin had a really nice game, and they had 13 points. They outscored the bench 13-9. From New Mexico. So the bench won that game in the scoring column, and everybody who got in produced, and didn't just produce in eating up some time, but produced in getting points as well. So it was a really nice game overall. Everybody had a huge game. I don't think that Stanley gets talked about enough in that game, or Buzo, because of the huge game that Max had, but Stanley has a double-double. Buzo has 16 points and hit a huge 3 in the corner. So overall, one of the better team games that I've seen the Broncos play.
35 for Max Rice.
Yeah.
So we've talked about him the last several pregame show, needing to get him going, but missed one, then made one, then had the air ball, and the crowd was all over him with the air ball chant. I thought it was important to come back and hit that next 3, not let it get in his head, quiet the crowd right away, and then he was off from there. But he had 24 in the second half. I thought he only had 11 at halftime, 24 in the second half, hit some huge daggers, and you just hope that confidence can carry over here the rest of the season, because that's the Max Rice we all know player he can be. We just haven't seen it a lot.
And Max has always been extremely mentally tough. And so I think when a crowd gets on him about an air ball like they did in New Mexico, I don't think for him that makes him shrivel up at all. I think that makes him think, okay, I'm even more locked in and going to knock down some shots. And he knocked the next one down. And then the crowd shut up after that every time he touched the ball because he made that next 3. But I also told Max when we were interviewing after the game that there's a handful of games of play that players have over 16 years that stand out to me. Derek Marks at home against Colorado State, when I think he went perfect from the floor and had 30 points. Chandler Hutchison's 44-point night. Marcus Shaver's game winner after missing every shot at Utah State. And then the 2 Max Rice games. Here against San Diego State where he scores 12, and then having over 30 at the pit against a team that is supposed to beat you by 10.5 points. Those 2 games for Max Rice stand out as some of the most impressive individual performances that I've seen since I've been doing the radio.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if I was here for the Derek Marks one yet, but it's got to be up there in terms of the top 3 that I've seen. And I even add, because it was on the road at the pit in that crowd, it's definitely up there for me. And in terms of the game, that was one of the, in my 11 years covering the team, probably one of their best wins, given the team they were playing, what that team had done to the teams, just blowing out teams before they played them, that atmosphere, that crowd, that was just one of the best wins of the Leon Rice era.
I think so too, and I think one other reason that it's such a great win is you take a look at the schedule, right? You were at the pit, then you're home against Air Force, and then at Colorado State and at Utah State. I mean, if they drop that at New Mexico, now you're looking at, okay, how do we come out of these 4 games with maybe 2 wins? And now with that first win in New Mexico, you're thinking, And what can happen? This could be a big stretch against some good teams, and the Broncos pull out some wins, and you could really see them take a jump.
We talked to Cam Martin yesterday. We're going to hear from him coming up in a little bit, but just him dealing with the shoulder injury, but yet continuing to find a way to help this team. We saw the huge dunk down the middle of the lane. His defense, his rebounding has been improving. What can you say about Cam? It seems like he's kind of settled into, you know what, I'm not starting. I'm not going to play 30 minutes a game. This isn't the season I was expecting it to be, but I can still help this team, and it seems like he's really found a nice role here.
Well, what really helps with people finding their roles is when you win games, when you're doing the role that the coaches ask you to do. I mean, it's pretty easy to find that role saying, okay, this might not be what I envisioned when I stepped on campus, but we're winning games. And if San Diego State wins tonight and Boise State wins tonight, we're going to be tied for first in one of the tougher basketball conferences in the country. Yeah. This is my role. I love it. I love the guys on the team. They're embracing it. And you can start to see it. You are asking some new guys this year. We talked about it a lot, to play different roles than they have at other places when they came over. And it's taken them a while, but you can really start to see this team coming together. And of course, the cliche is always, you want to play your best basketball at the end of February and March, and the Broncos are heading that direction.
Obviously, a huge 2-game road trip coming up, Colorado State, Utah State. Maybe we'll talk about this on Tuesday, but now that you went into Pitt, suddenly, winning at least one of those two doesn't seem like a far-fledged task. You feel like you can beat anyone, beat anywhere after winning.
You're going to step on the court at Moby Arena, which is a pretty good home court advantage, but it's nothing like the Pit. You're going to step into the arena at Utah State, which is a very good home arena, but I wouldn't say it's as intimidating as the Pit either. So you go into New Mexico and you get a win. The next two road games are supposedly really good home court advantages, but it's not going to be anything of 15,000 people screaming down on you like it was in Albuquerque.
No, given the atmosphere and the team, that was the hardest of the three, and you just won there.
And you just got that. So now you're looking ahead, but
how do you keep that from happening today, though? How do you avoid that? And I've asked you this a couple times this year, but this does seem like if there was ever a time for the prototypical trap game, so to speak, this would be it.
Well, and like I've said, in conference with this team, I don't believe in trap games. I mean, I don't think that anyone on this team is looking past it at all, because one, you just got a great win, and everyone knows you got to follow up a great win with another win, especially against a team that's last in the Mountain West. But an Air Force team who blew out UNLV for their only conference win, lost in overtime to someone else, lost to 3 points by San Jose. They could have 3 wins. And they are a team that is just tough to play against. They are a grind-out team. You have to find that balance against Air Force of playing free, but also playing while thinking. And it's a really tough balance to do. Some players can do it well, and some players have some of their worst games against Air Force because you can't just roll the balls out. You have to roll them out and play free, but you also have to be thinking, especially on the defensive end, while you're playing.
They're literally 359th out of 360 teams in average length of possession.
Yeah, they hold it a while.
They just keep trying to get you with those back cuts and keep trying. And literally, the stats say it. There's less than 10 seconds on the shot clock every time they take a shot. How taxing mentally and physically can that be?
It is. It's really taxing. And I think that you always look at rebounding. Every single game, you hear Coach Rice saying rebounding. But I don't know if there's a game in conference this year where defensive rebounding is going to be more important, because if you play defense for 25 seconds and you're exhausted, and then you give up an offensive rebound, and then you have to get back into a stance and play for another 25 or 30 seconds, chances are you're going to give up a bucket or a foul or something bad's going to happen on that second possession. So defensive rebounding in this game, huge.
What are your other keys for tonight?
It's just play the scheme that the coaches came up with, because there are some changes to your defense in every single game, but I think there might even be more changes against Air Force because of all the cuts away from the ball that they use. I don't know if they're a huge on-ball screen team like New Mexico was, but they are a movement without the ball type of team. So anytime that you just start looking at the ball, I guarantee you look back at your person you're guarding, and they will not be there anymore.
And we'll see what it's going to be a big crowd. I mean, sounds like as of yesterday, they only had 200 tickets left. That's a nice step forward for this program. You would think a rainy, kind of sleepy day. We'll see what kind of energy is in the crowd, if it's the same as we saw the last couple games. But I think that's another step in the right direction. Going to be a big crowd today.
It's going to be a nice crowd, and it's going to be a crowd that I hope they understand what they're getting with an Air Force game. I mean, it's not going to be 90 to 80 with just going up and down and highlights here and there. So it's going to be one where you got to appreciate a good defensive stand, maybe taking a charge, and every time they get a defensive rebound, just cheer.
Hey, we're going to take a quick 90-second timeout. Abe, we appreciate your time, man. We'll be listening in 15 minutes. You and Bob Beeler over on 670 KBOI. Quick 90-second timeout. We're back with John Mallory. We'll keep showing you warm-ups. Ton to get to. Be right back here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, live at ExtraMile Arena from Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Back live here, we got our man John Mallory, kind enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Johnny Ball Game, you hear him weekdays.
Game day.
3 to 6 with Mike Prater, John Patrick, Bob Beeler, the whole crew on Idaho Sports Talk, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. Also, you hear him on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. on BNN. Johnny, you got your coffee?
I'm all over.
It's a little rainy outside, but is it going to be hot in here today?
What are you, your ball game?
That felt like a John Mallory
ball game impersonation.
Yeah. But kind of an interesting game. Kind of a little bit of a trap game scenario coming off the big win against New Mexico. You got the game against Colorado State on Tuesday, and this kind of game sandwiched in here, but almost a sellout crowd supposed to be here. That should help and should be fun today.
BJ, this town, it's embracing, it's supporting, it's enjoying, it's loving this team right now, right? And that massive win, historic win, which you detailed a lot. I mean, what the second best ranked win in Leon's era? On the road.
Third best ever, I think.
Big time win.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the support of that here, which is great. And, it's like slushy out. It's crazy weather. It stinks. It's beautiful in here. Fans are filing in. It's going to be a big one. And Boise State's last I looked, 11.5 point favorite. I'm not sure where Circa has it right now.
That's come down. I saw like 12.5 earlier.
So it has come down a little bit. So, I mean, look, in this league, this, I mean, the best team beats the worst team, vice versa, obviously. But I think the difference is the consistency. The best teams in the league bring their A game more often than any other team. And that's been the difference. And more often, Boise State has brought its A game. It stumbled a couple of times. But other than that, I mean, this team's probably right where you thought they'd be, BJ. Essentially, this will be what the halfway point is today.
Yep.
A win puts you 7-2. You probably would have said when conference play started, BJ, if I would have said, hey, BJ, they're going to be 7-2, you probably would have been like, I don't know, man. That's pretty good. If they're one win against Air Force away from being 7-2 at the halfway mark, I mean.
And probably in first place, because I think San Diego State's going to beat Utah State.
Yeah. And first place, second place, I mean, you're dancing at this point. I mean, you're on the good side of the bubble. Well, you just have to keep playing well. So to this point, you're seeing what they have, their body of work, their resume that they've already developed, which is going to continue, obviously, if they keep winning. And this league, that's how it is every single night. But so you never want to count anybody out, but you got to like their chances, how they're playing too. And what Max did in Albuquerque, BJ.
Impressive, man. One of the best single game performances I've been in person for in my 11 years here covering the team.
That was the first one that we haven't seen together. Usually we're sitting right next to each other and we just give each other that Max look like, okay, yeah, he's going to flip that switch. And we hadn't seen that. But that was good to see. Who knows how he's going to play today. I don't imagine he's going to take a lot of shots. I don't know what the game plan would be on this thing, right? think you want to get a lot of players involved. I think Max lets the game come to him, and other players I want to see, the Buzo. I want to see Tyson drop 15 to 22.
Yeah, they need to get him going a little bit.
It'd be nice. God, he's so versatile, right? That's like the one guy, I don't care if he scores 2 or if he scores 20, BJ. The team can win either way. And that's just another thing to speak so highly of him in regards to. I mean, he's just such a good player. And I think I heard you were going to play some of that Cam Martin thing.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about Cam. What was that, yesterday?
Yeah, what was your take on that?
Man, that kid's tough. It could have been easy to say, 7th year, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm in pain every day, but he's going through it. And now, he let everybody know kind of some of his struggles and 50 attempts, BJ. I'll tease it, but he talks about how quickly his shoulder starts hurting him when he's working out.
Yeah, most guys take 400 shots a day.
A day.
His start hurting before he even gets to 50.
Isn't that crazy?
That's tough.
What a tough guy.
We got Chad watching up in section 55. We appreciate you, Chad. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you, man. Folks are saying that ball game and caffeine. Now, that's a combo.
They can tell I've had some coffee here.
A good combo, they said. Yeah.
This is Bronco Brew Coffee.
There you go. Support
BJ Rains.
Support the sponsors. I'm sure it is. Bronco Brew Coffee. BroncoBrew.coffee. Check them out. Johnny, what else are you liking right now? You said if they win today, they're 7-2. Jace Whiting starting to play better. You mentioned Cam doing some things. It seems like just some guys are starting to kind of round into form a little bit here, and we're starting to get a little more from the bench.
Yeah, you talked about it yesterday on IST. I mean, it feels like they have a bench, and there's 3 players from that bench that are going to get fairly consistent minutes for them. Andrew Meadow knows in a typical game he's going to play, 7 to 13. Whiting knows he'll play probably no less than 17, 18, 20, but he might play 30. And Cam Martin kind of depends on how he's playing, how he's feeling. Cam Martin is second on the team in assists, and he's only 1 behind Roddy Anderson.
Per game, he's still number 1.
Think about that.
He missed a game, so per game, he's still number 1.
So, I mean, you want to have him on the floor, and then, I mean, the supreme athleticism that Buzo has. I don't think there's a more physical guard in this conference than Buzo. Seriously, if I was starting a team in this league, and there's a lot of good 2 guards, it'd be hard for me not to take Buzo with everything he brings to the table, both ends of the floor, the physicality, the shot making. He's just a stud, BJ. This team's in a good spot right now, and obviously the bench has been a big part of it, but Leon, man, he likes having his guys go 30-plus minutes, and he has a lot of guys that can do that too. He can beat you a number of ways.
I've had a lot of people ask me this, and Alexandra Lambert, we appreciate you for always watching and commenting, wanting to know about Kobe Young. Why do you think Kobe Young can't even get a second on the floor in some of these games? You watch him in warm-ups, man. He's pretty impressive.
I trust Leon, Burns, Duryea, Red, Berto, right? I don't think it's a conspiracy and they just don't like him, or there's something deeper than he's just not as good as the players they play. And it's not YMCA ball. Everybody doesn't get to play at this level.
Yeah.
It's disappointing for fans, I think, and everybody who pays attention to this program, because he's a good kid. You know what type of caliber athlete he is. And this is year 3, and dadgummit, he can't find a spot in the rotation. RJ Keene, dadgummit, he's not being able to find a consistent spot in this rotation. And you know how college basketball works now, BJ. You know what happens at the end of the season to the 9th and 10th man on most teams, right? They don't want to risk being the 9th or 10th man the following year. So maybe who knows what's going to happen with those guys. But also, BJ, there's still half of conference play left. Maybe there is still time. There's an injury or something that happens, heaven forbid, obviously, with this team. But if he is called upon, will he be able to answer the call? Hopefully he will be for this team. But yeah, kind of a buzzkill, man. You haven't got to see him play, and this is year 3. You wonder how many more years he's going to give this here, because
you wonder that with a guy like Kobe or with RJ Keene.
Those were the 2 for me that there's probably a lot of places guys like that can play, but who knows what the team's going to look like next year anyway. And again, there's still a lot of games left. Half a conference play, BJ.
They're having the blackout in the crowd today. Folks wearing black. The team actually wearing their black uniforms as well. Johnny, close to a sellout, as I said yesterday, only about 200 seats remaining. What does that say, you think?
I love it.
Kudos to the marketing department. I'm sure the win helped the other night, but that's big time. A Saturday afternoon game against Air Force going to be close to a sellout.
Yeah, knocking on the door to go to the NCAA tournament, which is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for every Division I basketball team. They all have essentially the same goal, make the tournament. And Leon's now done this 3 straight years, possibly with this thing. So that's why I think, BJ, Leon's got this program at a spot where on a Saturday afternoon, yeah, you're going to put 10,000 in this building. I think it's crazy. I think it's lovely, man. I mean, I hear Prater all the time talking about like it's not like that. It's never been like that, and it's kind of getting closer there. What about your power rankings, though? Have you put anything out? What's going on?
I was going to wait till today, and this is the final thing. I only got you for one more minute here. But can I justify if Boise State wins and Utah State loses? And Boise State's tied for first place with Utah State, but Utah State's coming off a loss. Boise State's coming off the win at the Pit. Can I justify putting Boise State first?
Yeah,
again?
Because Boise State would probably in that case would they have the better resume, certainly with the quad system?
I mean, Utah State beat them.
Yeah,
10 days ago.
That's what Utah State has. We have head to head. We beat you. Shut up until you beat us.
Power rankings is more kind of in the moment, and I think you just won at New Mexico. You can put them ahead of New Mexico.
Power rankings don't need to include head to head, and that might sound crazy, but look, that's kind of what it is.
Well, we'll figure it out, man. Appreciate you for coming on as always, Johnny. John Mallory. One more sip of coffee for Johnny there. We appreciate him sporting the BNN hat here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Going to thank a couple of our sponsors. Going to hear from Cam Martin here in just a second as well. But don't forget about Lithia Ford, our title sponsor on the pre- and post-game shows. 5 new NIL deals for athletes at Boise State. We're super appreciative of Jim Sturk. He is supporting BNN. He's supporting the local community. He's supporting Boise State. Ahmed Hassanin. You got Matt Lauder driving new vehicles from Lithia Ford to Boise. You got Andrew Simpson. And then women's golfer Brooke Patterson and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team as well. So big deal. Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford stepping up. Go return the favor. Purchase your next vehicle from them at lithiafordboise.com. You need a job? Check out Transportation Compliance Service, TCS, transcomservice.com. Every step of the way, they can help you get into the trucking business, all the permits and things you need. Check them out. And if you're looking for a new job, I highly recommend Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com for details. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Looking forward to Tuesday. I'm taking Travis Hawks and Matt Bauscher and some of our sponsors down on the BNN private jet down to Colorado State for the game on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that, to thank our sponsors. And Travis Hawks, you better believe he's going to be there behind the bench in Fort Collins. And we appreciate the blueandorangestore.com. My wife purchased 2 NIL shirts. Max Rice, who I apparently was ripping on him, but was disrespectful, but yet my wife went and bought his NIL shirt. Funny how that works. You also had Tyson Degenhart. My wife purchased 2 shirts, ordered them online, and I went to the Blue and Orange Store the other day and picked them up. It was super easy. The blueandorangestore.com. You can purchase online, pick up in store, or have them mailed to you. Free shipping on any order over $40. Make sure you check them out at the Blue and Orange Store. I mentioned going to Colorado. Well, we're taking Stan Nicolason from Taco Bell as well. SON Management, the Nicolason family. We appreciate Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com if you're looking for a new job. Check them out. They'll hire you on the spot if you're qualified. You fill out the paperwork, and when you start working, you get half your money the very next day after your shift. So check them out. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. TacoBellWorks.com. Waiting for the Broncos to come back out on the court here. You got some managers out here shooting the ball around. A lot of action already going on in the college basketball game as well. Let's see what else. We got the San Diego State-Utah State game tipping off right about now on Fox. Looking forward to watching that. That's going to be a great game. I think San Diego State gets them, and that certainly would help Boise State if San Diego State could win. That would put Boise State back in a tie for first place in the Mountain West. You could have Boise State back in first place in the Mountain West. So I know some of you guys might have that game on. Hopefully you have that muted or watching and listening to us on your phone or your tablet while you're watching the beginning of the San Diego State Utah State game, does Max give the post-game interview today? Well, we don't. It's not one-on-one for the home games. He just goes into a big media room, and I guess it depends on how he plays tonight. But big game for Boise State. A little bit of a trap game, in my opinion. Certainly, this is a game where if you're Boise State, you're just coming off the monster win against New Mexico. You got to go back on the road Tuesday to Colorado State. I could see why this, on paper would look like a little bit of a trap game, but really nice crowd filing in. It's going to be close to a sellout. I don't know if they'll quite have the energy that we had in the building the last couple of home games, but 3 games left. You got the game today, and then you got the 2 next week, and then you get the bye, and then the schedule lightens up a little bit. They have a chance, I think, to win 6 in a row after the bye. So we'll talk about Tuesday and what that means, trying to win, steal another one on the road on Tuesday. But tonight, you'd like to see a couple things. Number one, you'd like to see Max Rice back it up. You'd like to see them back it up. Max Rice, you did it one game. Can you do it again? Can you have, I'm not saying score 35, but let's see him hit 3 or 4 more threes and get over 20 and kind of get this momentum rolling for consecutive games here. Johnny mentioned it earlier. You'd like to see Tyson get going a little bit. He was only 1 for 8 in the last game. You'd like to see him get going. You'd like to see Jace Whiting and the bench continue to play. And I'd like to see this team get up by enough where you're putting in the bench guys, where you're going deep down the bench in this one. Let's go. Can we get a Kobe Young appearance in this game? Can we get R.J. Keene? Can we get maybe even Sam Winter? I mean, probably not at this point, but because it does matter. And again, the Ken Pom number for this game is 14. Boise State has to win this game by at least 14 tonight, and if they can win by at least 14, that'll help the Ken Pom numbers. You see the Broncos coming back onto the court wearing the all-black uniforms today. It is a blackout. They just wore these uniforms down in New Mexico on Wednesday at work, so why not do it again? And you got some fans making some noise for the Broncos as they head out onto the court for warm-ups. I always love Max Rice is in full uniform like 2 hours before the game when he comes out for warm-ups. I guess it's just easier than to have to worry about it again. But Omar Stanley, Cam Martin, they're going to try to do some work on the interior. Chad wants 80-64, and he wants Kobe Young in the game. Who is repping the game tonight? We got, let's take a look at that, if they have that posted yet on the notes here. We got Greg Nixon, Tommy Johnson, and Matt Rafferty. Greg Nixon, he's a solid ref. He's the guy that I always tell Johnny looks like. Who's the guy I always say? Liam Neeson is the guy that he looks like. No one else thinks he looks like him, but I do. He's that's Gregory Nixon, the lead official. And then you got Tommy Johnson and Matt Rafferty, who I know nothing about. And both those guys are probably, I would say, lower level, but I think that's unfair to say. I just don't know that. But there's a ton of games, and this game's not on TV. Last week we saw with the officiating crew. It is what it is. But Gregory Nixon, at least, is a good official and at least started out, at least have one solid official. That's a good start for Boise State today. So you hope it doesn't come to anything with the officials in this game. You're playing Air Force. You'd like to have a nice lead. You'd really like to not have to worry too much about it coming down to calls. Is there a game limit for red shirts? There is. It's 1 second of one game. You play in 1 second of one game, that counts as your season, and you cannot use it as a red shirt. Football, you get to play 4 whole games plus a bowl game. They don't give you 1 second in basketball. I've never understood that. I think you should get at least the non-conference games or at least the first 10 games of the season, something. But for whatever reason, basketball is different. Football is the only sport where they let you actually play and then still red shirt. So I think they should change it. I don't know if they ever will or why it is the way it is, but currently no time for red shirts to get any action and still do that. And that hurts some younger guys and maybe would get some more playing time that don't have a chance. Alexander would like to see Buzo get 20 tonight. Certainly think that's possible. Let's see what else here. Some folks are caring about the refs. We got some other comments coming in here. You got 10 more minutes. Yeah, I got about 6 to 7 minutes. We got to be off when there's 15 minutes on the clock. Those are the Mountain West rules here with the game not being on TV. Tyree says we're Aztec supporters today. I agree with that. And in the early going, it's actually 9-6 Utah State But you'd like to see San Diego State win that game, and then Boise State's tied for first place. If Utah State wins that game, it's going to be hard, folks, for Boise State to win the conference. And I'll say this, you're going to need to win the game in Logan, really, because if you fall back, a game and you lose the tiebreaker, you're down 2 games on them. That's going to be tough. So that game in Logan next Saturday really could be the game that decides first place when it's all said and done. Jason's got 85-60. He's going Boise State by 25. That would certainly be a nice game for the metrics. That would be a nice game for a lot of reasons. 14 points is the Ken Palm number. So if you're trying to help Boise State's metrics rise, help the net ranking rise, all that stuff, the number to look for is a 14-point victory today. Anything above that helps. Anything below it hurts. Obviously, the main objective today is just win the game if you're Boise State. But 14 is the number that Boise State is trying to get to. Don't forget, we hope you'll join us in Vegas. Make sure you RSVP, Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. The Bronco Nation News at KTIK 95.3, the ticket pool party. We will be live from Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas on Friday, March 15th. We'll be there all week for the conference tournament, but we'll be outside 10 to 5 for the pool party on Friday, March 15th. RSVP to Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com, and you get a free cover charge. Typically, it's $50 on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays to get in. It is free. If you email me, we'll take care of your cover charge. And looking forward to taking over Stadium Swim. We're going to have a private pool for us, some cabanas with some food, some drinks for subscribers. Everybody is welcome, subscribers or non-subscribers. John Mallory has agreed to waive the autograph fee. He might even bring the glossy photos. That might still be $5. We'll see. But the autographs will be free. Pictures might be free. Prater's going to be there. We'll try to get those guys jumping in the pool, maybe on a commercial break or something. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys plan to join us, RSVP. Also, only about 10 days left. I'm just letting you know, during the bye week, I believe Tuesday we're going to do this of the bye week. We're giving away the trip pretty soon. So make sure you sign up and you subscribe. A 1-year subscription is just $50 using our promo code BNN50 deal. That gives you $20 off the first year. And we're going to give away this trip, and you have to be a yearly paying subscriber. A yearly paying subscriber to be entered in our contest. Our grand prize, a trip for 2 on a private jet to the last game of the season in San Diego. We'd love to have you subscribe. Free all the content, all the stories, a daily email. You get video content, all kinds of great coverage on the site. And we're also doing some giveaways, including our grand prize giveaway, a trip for 2 on a private jet to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. So hope you'll sign up. Air Force taking the court. Crowd continuing to file in. Going to be a fun one. Now, Jordan's not here tonight. He says, you better bring it. I'm visiting family out of state. Looking forward to the Tusk broadcast live. Yeah, Jay Tust and Brian King on the call today. Brian King is on the call today with Jay Tust on the Mountain West Network. Our officials taking the court. We appreciate everyone that's watching, regardless of where you're watching. If you're out of state, if you're in Boise, if you're out of the country, we always appreciate everybody for checking our show and watching and supporting us, and we truly appreciate that as always. And hopefully you will subscribe if you can. If you are unable to subscribe, we get it. Money's tight. If $50 is unattainable, we do have a $6.99 monthly option. And at worst, if you're at least subscribed to our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Easiest way to watch our shows is YouTube. Then you can see all the comments and things and chat right there in the chat. And that is youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. So youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. And you'll be locked and loaded and ready to go. So we'll see what kind of energy it is. Not much of a student turnout yet. Students are starting to file in, but certainly not the same energy and vibe that we had for the Utah State game last week. But the fact that it's going to be close to a sellout is a big deal. And kudos to Bronco Nation, at least to this point, for looking like it's going to be a nice crowd and a nice afternoon for basketball here at ExtraMile Arena. So I'm going to say Boise State, let's go 77-62. How about that? 77-62. They're going to win by 15. How about that? I think that's probably certainly about the point spread and about the Ken Palm score, so I guess I'm going out on a big limb there for this one, but I'm going to go 77-62. And we've had some more folks waving, walking by, saying hello, so always fun. There's Lauren Jenkins and the Jenkins crew in the house. Joey Jenkins does a tremendous job on the PA for the games. Good to see that the family made the trip for this one. Looking forward to it. Going to be fun. Boise State Air Force. I wish it wasn't at the same time as some of these other games. You got the Kansas-Houston game at the same time. You got the Utah State, San Diego State game. A lot of good games on today. Unfortunately, it's at the same time as a lot of them. So for me personally, I'm going to be looking at some different games here. Ben's got 88-62. Cody is right behind me, ready to rock. So where's Cody at? Cody says he's right behind me, ready to rock. I'm looking for you, Cody. I don't see you. I don't know where he is. Cody's somewhere back there, but sorry, Cody, I don't see you. But make some noise tonight, Cody. Let's go. So appreciate you guys for checking us out. Go subscribe if you can. We got to jump off here. 82-62 is his prediction. Give us about 30 minutes for the post game. We got to do the interviews kind of in the group setting. We can't get them on live for the home game, so we'll go do the group interviews, come back, fire up the show. We'll go as late as we need to tonight. So make plans about 30 minutes after the game ends. Come join us on the post game show. Looking forward to hopefully talking about a Boise State win, but we appreciate you. Thanks so much. We really appreciate you guys checking us out. And again, go subscribe if you can. Tell your friends. Support the sponsors. Make this whole thing continue to work for all of us. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the game. It's coming up in about 15 minutes over on the Mountain West Network, themw.com, or you can download the Mountain West Network app. And we will talk to you after the game. Chad, if your prediction happens, I'll give you a lifetime membership to BNN. He's got 165-12, 95 points for Deggy. So appreciate it. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you about 30 minutes afterwards. This has been the Lithia Boise pregame show from the Cutwater Studios. Enjoy the game, folks. We'll talk to you afterwards on